All right. What is up, YouTube? What is going on, fellow fantasy people? And of course, what is up, the catch fam? Hope everyone is doing fantastic tonight, man. Looks like I already got to remove our ticker at the top. I still have the waiver wire editions at the top. If you guys did not see that stream, go back and watch the Week 11 waiver wire must adds. Or you can just take notes on the top 10 guys I have for the week at the top of the screen. Anyways, man, we're going to hop into some Week 11 fantasy Q&A, and of course, any fantasy Q&A in regards to Monday Night Football as well. So make sure you guys hit that like button on the way. And make sure if you're new to the channel, you do sub down below and become part of the catch fam. As I'm trying to type and talk at the same time and fix that ticker, obviously is absolutely screwing me up. But nonetheless, man, appreciate you guys coming out tonight. Let's get into some Q&A and just kind of see where you guys are at moving into week 11 here. All right, LeBron's brain, let's go, man. Another week, another dub. I say that, but Cup and Debo about to drop 80 combined. I mean, don't get me wrong, man. It's possible. Do I think it'll happen? Uh, Probably not. Probably not with Ramsey on Debo. Cup is, he need to be more worried about in that matchup. But nonetheless, I don't think 80 is going to happen. But could I see a very solid stat line happening? Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. So we'll kind of start to dig into week 11 a little bit. And, the stream is starting a little bit earlier tonight. So I'll kind of see where you guys are at. I know that, last week we did a little bit of an earlier stream and it turned out, we had a pretty good turnout for it. But just kind of nice to be able to sit back and, while I do, of course, enjoy watching the Monday Night Football games with you guys, just having the night off, so to speak, heading into the next week. It's nice for me. I'm not gonna lie, man. And I had a really crazy weekend, so it'll be nice, definitely this week as well. So, Matt Tyreek won me my week. Let's go, let's go. Yeah, I have Tyreek against me in my primary league, and I'm in a very, very close matchup. So, I was kind of hoping he wouldn't have a good week, but for your sake, I'm very, very happy, Matt. Bond's brain. I'm just praying that I can get AJ Dillon off waiver this next week. I'm last in priority or somewhere high, so probably not. Yeah, I mean, is it bad, man? I'd even put AJ Dillon on the waiver wire additions because in most leagues he's not available. There's a lot of big leagues out there where people have been stashing him and waiting for this moment to happen, so to speak. So I didn't even have him in there. I got Dearness and Ingram last week off wire. So yeah, those are two other guys. I mean, I talked about them during the stream for week 11, but I did not necessarily have them in the waiver wire video because Dearness, depends on Nick Chubb's health. Ingram depends on Alvin Kamara's health. So I didn't have those guys in there, but I probably should have. I did not bring up AJ Dillon. I'm just like, there's no way he's available, but he probably is out there. So, man, if you get him, I mean, obviously that's the number one waiver priority on the week. Don't get me wrong. Made for TV _ what's going on, my guy? Hey, I do apologize. I did not get back to you, man. I do sincerely apologize. Like I said, a very, very hectic weekend, and Monday is part of my weekend for me. I was slammed all day. Back in my head all day was responding to your comment. I sincerely apologize, but we could get into it here in the chat as well, my dude. All right, I traded Jones and Darrell Williams for Zeke. Now being offered Adams for Robinson. Need a strong wide receiver because Mike Williams worries me every week, but my flex would be Ayuk or Sanders. What do you think? I think Ayuk and Sanders are fine flex plays. It depends on your overall depth at the running back position. Okay. I don't mind the trade that you did for Zeke whatsoever, especially with Jones being injured. And I think Williams's value will not completely tank, but go down a tidbit here with CH coming back. It depends on what running backs you would have left over because I do think this is a great trade in terms of acquiring Devontae Adams. But don't get me wrong, man. I love me some James Robinson too. So just let me know overall what your running backs would look like. But I really think, well, I just said do, but I do really like Ayuk and Sanders as your flex guys. Okay. And if you have Mike Williams still after the trade, then I don't mind that as much as well. All right, Christian, should I trade away Devontae Adams and Austin Eckler for Aaron Jones and Dalvin Cook? Should I trade away Devontae Adams and Austin Eckler for CMC, D Hop, and Antonio Gibson? Huh. Devontae Adams, Austin Eckler, Aaron Jones, and Dalvin Cook, or Devontae Adams and Austin Eckler for CMC, D-Hop, and Antonio Gibson. This is tough. This is tough. Which trade are you leaning towards more? Because these both change your roster in a pretty extreme way. So it just kind of depends on where are you looking for more running back depth with the first trade? Do you think that you get enough running back depth with CMC and Antonio Gibson? And then do you like that addition of DeAndre Hopkins as well? It just kind of depends on what you think improves your roster the most, because I do think that these are relatively fair trades, but I don't really see any problem with keeping Devontae Adams and Austin Eckler as well. Like, if you're really hurting at the running back position, if Eckler is the only guy, then the first trade makes sense, although you can't play Aaron Jones in the short term. And the second trade still makes sense because you can play CMC and Antonio Gibson right away, and you at least get some value at the receiver position, although DeAndre Hopkins is hurt, right? So it just kind of depends on what moves you think you need to make. The second that I wrote, I like better. I guess my question here is, I mean, you're getting some added depth, so I like that. I mean, you get CMC and Antonio Gibson, so I don't mind that. And Antonio Gibson has been relatively inconsistent on the season, though, so I don't hate this trade, and I think I do like the second trade more than the first one as well. And at least you get a receiver back for Devontae Adams at the same time. So if you've got the conviction in the trade, then I don't hate it. And I feel very good about CMC, man. I really do. LeBron's Brain says, I would. Eckler and CMC as much people try and make them. Sure. Both are injury prone. I mean, that's definitely true, man. Made for TV _ No, apologize. You guys are great. Hey, I appreciate that, my dude. I currently only have 4 running backs: Zeke, Taylor, Robinson, and Sanders. That's another thing that worries me. I'd be down to 3 running backs. Yeah. Here's the thing. You can start Zeke and Jonathan Taylor with full confidence on a consistent basis, but I don't really have any faith in Sanders, to be quite frank with you. But I mean, I hate to see you lose Robinson, but it's still a fair trade, and it does boost your wide receiver core right away, gaining Devontae Adams, right, especially in full PPR. And then you can still kind of lean on Williams, Ayuk, and Sanders as your next coming guys. Is that your number 2 receiver? Is Williams, or do you have someone else of like kind of wide receiver 1 caliber? Because if you do, then this is a strong trade. But you know that I lean running back heavy, man. You know, you've been here since day one. But hate to see you lose Robinson, but I don't think this is too bad of a trade. I don't. Jason, what's going on, man? What's good? I hope you're all having a good day so far. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate you, my dude. Just a quick question, bro. What do you think of Montgomery rest of the season? What's his value? Thanks, bro. Absolutely, dude. Listen, man. I love David Montgomery. Okay. And made for TV, this is a good point, too. Robinson has one of the best playoff schedules in the entire league. So keep that in mind as well. James Robinson has the easiest playoff schedule amongst fantasy running backs. Now, Jason, Montgomery has the second easiest playoff schedule for running backs as well. So I love Montgomery, man, and he's got some good matchups before the fantasy playoffs even start. So I really, really love Montgomery. If you guys own him, I would not trade him. I think he's going to be a player that helps get you into the fantasy playoffs and can potentially win you the fantasy playoffs as well. So I would personally hold on to David Montgomery. I think his value is very, very high overall. Made for TV, if I knew the Eagles would use Sanders properly, I wouldn't hesitate to trade Robinson for Adams. Sure. And it doesn't look like the Eagles can decide who they want to start on a weekly basis, unfortunately. So even when Sanders comes back, I don't know really how valuable he is overall. James, what's going on, man? Trade Thielen, Kirk, and Hunt for Henry, Cooks, and Carson. As long as this doesn't hurt your receiving core too bad, I don't hate this. I mean, that's Christian Kirk, I'm assuming, right? It's not Kirk Cousins. So I kind of like Thielen, Kirk, and Hunt more, because at least Hunt's going to come back and give you value, right? We really don't know the situation with Chris Carson. It's very murky. And then with Hunter, or with I'm assuming that's Derrick Henry, not Hunter Henry. So with Derrick Henry, I don't know if he's really going to be valuable at all for the fantasy season. So I think I'd lean Thielen, Kirk, and Hunt unless you're absolutely just loaded at the wide receiver position and you're really hurting at running back. That would probably be the only circumstance I would pull the trigger there, James. All right, Will, CeeDee Lamb or Jamar Chase in week 11? All right, let's get into it, man. Don't know off the top of my head. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, man, what their matchups are going to look like, but we can find out very, very quickly for you, my friend. All right, let's see here. So, CeeDee Lamb, gosh, he had such a monster game. Okay, CeeDee Lamb's got Kansas City. I do like that matchup overall. And then Jamar Chase. I mean, gosh, I mean, first thing that comes to my mind is can you start both of these guys, right? Jamar Chase has got Las Vegas. Technically speaking, that's a worse matchup. I love both of these guys. I'd be interested to see who else you have in the wide receiver position and the flex position. But I'm assuming you've got some pretty good running backs. I mean, you could have got Jamar Chase pretty late, and so you can start both of them, and it doesn't hurt your lineup. Then I don't mind that at all. But if not, then looking at the matchups at CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb. The Cowboys are trending in a better direction than the Bengals have been as of late. So I'd lean CeeDee Lamb here if I had to choose one. All right, made for TV. You got Hollywood Brown, Judy, Ayuk, and Mike Williams are my 4 wide receivers. Okay, so still have Hollywood Brown, and yeah. I was looking at Robinson's schedule and it's definitely juicy. That's the only thing that's making me hesitant here. That's the only thing that's making me hesitant. But this does really help out your roster. Let me know where your headspace is at, man, because I hate to see you lose Robinson, but the fact that you got JT to kind of lead this team and you've got Zeke, right? You can use, I mean, you can, in my opinion, get rid of Sanders and just go to the waiver wire and probably find kind of diamond in the rut kind of guy, man, to move forward with at the running back position. So, yeah, yeah. I don't hate this trade, but I do hate to see you lose Robinson. But I do, at the same time, I think it does help your roster. Okay, Hollywood Brown on top of Devontae Adams with Zeke and Jonathan Taylor. I mean, that's a very solid 4. And then you can move between Judy, Ayuk, and Williams at the flex. I don't hate this. So we got to look at the other side, though. If you don't do the trade, you've got Jonathan Taylor, okay, Ezekiel Elliott, James Robinson at the flex, which I really, really like being how RB heavy I generally lean. Then you've still got Hollywood Brown, Judy, Ayuk, or Mike Williams as your wide receiver too. As long as that's the way your league's set up, then I don't really hate that either. What's your record at, man? We haven't talked in a minute, man. Let me know what your record's at and how everything's looking overall. Um, yeah, I could argue this both ways though. So let me know where your headspace is at. Charlie, what's going on, man? Is Miles Sanders worth the waiver ad? I don't think so, quite frankly. I don't feel great about these Eagles running backs at all. Yeah, I don't. I just too wildly inconsistent. All right, made for TV. I'm thinking about sticking with Brown, Judy, Ayuk, and my 3 running backs. I don't mind that at all, man. I don't, especially heading in. If you're in a good position, that's why I was curious about your overall record, right? If you're in a good position moving into the playoffs, then I really like that tandem, man. Is tandem the right word? I really like that trio, okay, of Jonathan Taylor, Ezekiel Elliott, and James Robinson. Gosh, that's filthy. Like, you got to feel good about that. You still got Hollywood Brown as your wide receiver 1. I can understand why you're worried about Williams, but man, Judy and Ayuk and full PPR are trending in the right direction. So I don't hate those guys either, man. I think personally I'd hold on to the running backs as well. Devontae Adams, a phenomenal wide receiver, one of the best in the league, a great fantasy wide receiver. Yes, it helps your roster, but then again, in the long run, it might actually hurt your roster, especially moving into the playoffs, man. All right, let's see here. FIFA Flow, what's going on, man? Me and my opponent are tied. He has Kittle. I have Henderson. Who wins? Ooh, man, this is tough. I like Henderson more in this matchup, but this is really, really tough, man. The Rams are not very good against opposing tight ends. I will say that. But the Niners have not been very good against opposing running backs, and I like Henderson more on the season. This could go either way. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, my dude. This is very, very hard to call. Um, I could see this going either way. That's a tough one, man. That's one that you're gonna be on your toes all night long. I mean, let's just be real, man. Um, I think tonight's gonna be a great game, and obviously, it has a lot of fantasy implications. We're gonna see how the Rams wide receiver core looks. We're gonna see if any new faces show up. We're gonna see how well Odell is implemented into this offense overall. It's going to be interesting, right? We're going to see how Debo looks somewhat banged up versus a Jalen Ramsey. We're going to see how Ayuk turns out. We're going to see how Kittle, coming off of that big game and a tough matchup for tight ends, how he fares out. So it's going to be a good night overall, man, in terms of football. I think it's going to be a really fun game to watch. All right. Yeah, FIFA Flow. We could really argue that one either way. Let us know in the chat, man. Uh, tied, who wins there? The guy who has Kittle, the guy who has Henderson. Made for TV. I'm second place, 6-3 going into tonight, up 20 with Rams versus Kittle and Debo. You know, I'm torn. I want the Niners to win, but I'd like a low score. Absolutely. Hey, man, if you're in a good position, let's start there. Then I don't think you do the trade. I do think you hold on to those three running backs. I think that James Robinson in the fantasy playoffs, as long as he stays healthy, is going to be the guy to have there. Okay. And I think you can get by with those receivers. So yeah, I would not do the trade, especially if you're in second place. Let's see. Going tonight, I'm up 20 with the Rams versus Kittle and Debo. That's tough, man. That's tough. I could definitely see Kittle and Debo getting over the hump of 20 points combined, but at least you have the Rams to help kind of buffer it out, man. I can see you getting the dub here as well, but that's going to be another nail biter. We got two biters in the house. FIFA Flow, it's going to be a nail biter. Oh, there we go. Can't wait. Have a good week, brother. Hey, of course, man, I appreciate you swinging by, man, and throwing out the question. Guys, make sure you hit that like button, man. Let's try and get as many new viewers to the stream as possible. Thanks for taking me off the edge. I'm rejecting the trade. I mean, yeah, it's not a bad trade. Don't get me wrong, but that's what we're here for, my dude. Just kind of trying to think of this long term, big picture. Um, how much does this help you in the long run? And don't get me wrong, I mean, Devontae Adams is Devontae Adams, but I personally, if it was my roster, I would definitely consider this, like I think you did, but I don't think at the end of the day that I would pull the trigger there. I want the three RB1s, man. And I think that's how you went out and you drafted, right? And you did that for a reason. So I would just stick by that, you know. Um, and gosh, Robinson's going to have a phenomenal playoff run. Healthy Ezekiel Elliott, a healthy Jonathan Taylor, and a healthy James Robinson is not something to mess around with whatsoever. So, I think that you stick with those three backs for sure. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead. Ooh, just hit the laptop there. Okay. Let's see overall what we're going to be expecting in week 11. If I can get. All right, here we go. Yeah, I'm super excited for this football game. I'm actually going to sit down and just watch this game tonight. All right, let's see here. I have got a very close matchup for the night, boys. Very close. Jason, I'm up 20. Other team has Henderson and Kittle, and I still have Debo left. Who do you think takes a W? That's very close once again. Gosh, you guys have some nail biters tonight, my dude. Here's the nice thing, though, for you. You at least have Debo, and you have the 20-point margin. So you can definitely win here. You can definitely pull this one out. Um, I think you do pull this off. I actually do in that circumstance. Up 20, Debo should get you at least 12 points at worst, 10 points at worst. So I think you can hold this one out, but it's going to be very close. Very, very close. All right, let's see here. All right, week 11. Let's see what we got going on. Gosh, I got a tough matchup in week 11. All right, we got Lamar Jackson at Chicago. I like that matchup. Christian McCaffrey at Washington. The Denver Broncos on bye. Russell Gage droppable at this point. Gosh, I thought we found a good diamond in the rough in Russell Gage, and we did not. Brandon Ayuk's got Jacksonville. Mike Gesicki coming off that goose egg is going to have the Jets. James Robinson has got San Francisco. The Rams are on bye week next week, which is, I mean, it hurts a lot of people. Matt Gay, kicker, going to be someone you guys might have to drop. Antonio Brown, if healthy, has got the Giants. Jarvis Landry's got Detroit. Hey, Jarvis Landry's been playing very bad, but I kind of like that matchup for Jarvis Landry at Detroit overall in Week 11. Gosh, man, what is up with the Browns passing game? It is bad. I mean, I can't really blame Odell. It's bad. Um, gosh, Dalton Schultz has got Kansas City. Ty Johnson of the Jets has got Miami. David Montgomery's got Baltimore. The Dallas Cowboys, Michael Gallup's got Kansas City. I'm just going through actual rosters in my primary league and seeing what we should be expecting. Okay. Aaron Rodgers got Minnesota. That's a big game for the Packers. Mike Davis, Thursday Night Football, should be the number one guy with Wayne Gallman against New England. James Conner has got Seattle. I like that matchup for Conner. I'm not going to lie. Cole Beasley has got Indianapolis. Devonta Adams got Minnesota. Jared Cook has got Pittsburgh. Adam Thielen's got Green Bay. We got a lot to get into in week 11, man, as we start to get our early prep in here, man. Let's see what else we got going on. Okay. Hopkins, if he's back, has got Seattle. Uzma has got Las Vegas, man. Uzma has got some very good matchups in the fantasy playoffs. I know he's been wildly inconsistent, a huge boomer bust guy, but he's got Denver, Baltimore, and Kansas City. Outside of Denver, those are some very good matchups. So keep an eye on Uzma, guys. Let's see here. Okay, that should be about it in terms of players worth going over. So let's see here. Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills will get Indianapolis. That secondary is not very good, but that front seven is good for the Colts. We'll see what happens there. The Broncos are on bye week, of course, so Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams out. Austin Eckler's got Pittsburgh. On paper, it's not a good matchup, but it's Austin Eckler, so who cares? Chris Godwin, the Buccaneers have got the Giants, a good matchup for those wide receivers of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Hollywood Brown has got Chicago, so we like that matchup quite a bit. Mark Andrews as well, another good play there versus Chicago. Alex Collins, if he winds up being the starter for Seattle, has got a good matchup. AJ Dillon's going to get Minnesota. Not a bad matchup. Not the best matchup. Not the worst. Saquon Barkley, if he's back, not a good matchup, but he's back, man. He's got Tampa Bay. That's interesting right there. Let's see here. Rashad Bateman has got Chicago. Jamar Chase has got Las Vegas. Both good matchups. Ryan Tannehill is going to be facing Houston. A good matchup for Tannehill. Zeke's got Kansas City. Not bad there. Pollard's got Kansas City. I know Pollard had a good game, but I think I'm leaning towards Zeke here in week 11. Amari Cooper, wow, this team I'm looking at has a lot of Cowboys. It's got Kansas City, a good matchup. Corey Davis, he played well coming off the injury, has got Miami, a good matchup there. Although I could see him getting the pressure of Xavier Howard, so maybe not the best matchup. Darren Waller's got Cincinnati, not a bad matchup at all. Colts receivers got Buffalo. It's not pretty. Zach Ertz has got Seattle. Let's see. How did he end up doing? Yeah, about 46 receiving yards. Not great since we saw him get 2 touchdowns in a row. A couple of weeks ago, though, to really put things in perspective. Okay. Who else do we got in week 11? Week 11 is going to be a good one from what we're seeing so far. What's going on, man? Aaron Jones or James Robinson for playoffs at both healthy. For me, it's James Robinson all the way. He has got the easiest strength of schedule as things stand today. For me, it's James Robinson. Aaron Jones been banged up. I love me some Aaron Jones, my dude, but I do encourage you guys to go back and find our stream from last Friday. We went over, fantasy playoff schedules at every single position for every single team, the strength of schedule as things stood in week 10. Of course, that can change, and we will revise those things as the weeks go. And we'll probably have more structured videos for the fantasy playoffs as well. But man, James Robinson, the easiest strength of schedule for running backs as things stand from this past week, right? David Montgomery right up there. Daryl Henderson's up there as well. The Dolphins running backs, if I remember correctly, are up there as well. Not that I want to read into the Dolphins running backs, but for me, man, for the playoffs, it's James Robinson all day long, just looking at the strength of schedule overall. Man, CMC is so good. I'm so happy after seeing him drop 26 points, but his hamstring bothered him a little bit, so I am a little bit worried. Yeah. Coming from a CMC owner, I do think that he's fine. I mean, it's kind of natural for that type of injury to just get sore, and that's what they were saying. He was just having it worked on due to soreness. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely worrisome, and some people were freaking out because he went into the blue medical tent, but that was not by choice. He did not want to do that. It was just protocol, and he was cleared. He was completely fine. It's just one of those things that happens from time to time. So uh, don't worry about the medical tent thing. And then some people were talking about how towards the end of the game, he wasn't getting as many touches. Well, that was just because this game was getting out of hand. The game script did not support CMC staying in there. There's no reason to keep him in there. You know what I'm saying? And why not get some of those other backs involved at that point? Because the Panthers are just beating up on the Cardinals overall. So I can understand being worried, but I personally think Christian McCaffrey is just fine. I would not panic and trade him or anything like that. We had some questions in last night's stream, and I would not panic on CMC, but I can understand being worried. It's natural. Don't be wrong. When I saw both things happening, I was naturally worried, but hey, I'm not worried about CMC at the end of the day, man. He's a tough running back, and I think that he'll be just fine overall. Adam, what's good, my dude? What's going on, Adam? Guys, hit that like button on the way in. If you're new to the channel, make sure you sub down below, become part of the Catch fam, and let's keep rolling, man. I think Steven's going to hop on for just a bit tonight, about half an hour or so. So we do have Steven on the agenda as well. But of course, our Tuesday night stream, me and Steven will be here tomorrow at 7:30. We'll be here for about 2 to 3 hours, and that's really one of our most active streams of the week. And then Wednesday, the same exact thing. We'll both be here at 7:30. So yeah, we'll be here for a good amount of time tomorrow and Wednesday night. Those are really the two nights where you guys have the most questions for your lineups moving into week 11. So make sure you guys stay tuned for the week, man. We got a lot to get into, my guys. All right. LeBron's brain, would you trade Gibson and Judy for Barkley? Yeah, I would. I would. If you're hurting at the running back position, I think this is an upgrade in terms of consistency. I see Adam saying I'd probably do that if you're good at wide receiver. I don't hate that idea as well. I mean, if losing Judy does not hurt you, then yeah, I don't mind this at all. At all. Simon for president. Hey, Catch fam, what is up, Simon? Always good to have you here, my dude. Good to see you here tonight. Let's see here. F, I hate having Terry for fantasy. He's so inconsistent. It's unbelievable. Yeah. Listen, guys, I at this point in time, right? I mean, I had some faith the last week or so around Scary Terry, right? And at this point, it's really, really difficult to trust him. There have been some other receivers on the Washington football team who started to step things up. To put things in perspective, though, in full PPR, he's still a top 20 guy. In half PPR, he's still a top 20 guy. But listen, man, these upcoming matchups, okay, he's got one of the most difficult remaining strengths of schedules for wide receivers at this point in time. So you can move on from Terry McLaurin if you can get good trade value out of him. Okay. He's got Carolina, number 3 against position, Seattle, number 12 against position, Las Vegas, number 6 against position, Dallas, number 17 against position. Now, then the fantasy playoffs do start, and he's got Philadelphia, number 4, Dallas, number 17, and Philly, number 4 as well. Guys, give me one quick second. I'm going to have to pause. I have got a work call coming in. Give me 1 second. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Work duties. Sometimes they come up. Okay, but nonetheless, man, in terms of Odell, or it's not Odell Beckham, wow. In terms of Scary Terry, he's got a very, very difficult strength of schedule coming up. So I do believe that you can choose to move on from him if you can get good enough trade value out of him. So yes, he is incredibly inconsistent. I don't think it's going to get better anytime soon. All right. F, I liked and subbed. Hey, I appreciate that support, my dude. Welcome to the catch. Fam, great to have you here, my guy. Simon for president. Thielen or Cooks rest of season. Thanks. I would lean Adam Thielen here all the way. All the way, man. Yeah, I like Adam Thielen a lot here. Uh, I think he's going to be on the better offense. I think he's going to be far more consistent as well. Adam, Terry has big upside, but he's just not a wide receiver one. If he's your wide receiver two, you should be fine. Much, much better at the wide receiver two or flex position. But then again, man, looking at these upcoming strength of schedule, he's not a guy that you really want to hold on to. F, I traded Odell Beckham and James Robinson for Aaron Jones 2 days ago, and then Robert Woods got injured, and then Aaron got injured. Worst trade I've ever made in my life. I'm so mad I did that. Yikes, that is scary. And I mean, James Robinson, someone that we love going into the fantasy playoffs, man. He has got phenomenal, phenomenal matchups, man. So, hey, these things happen, man. That's part of the reason why I stay away from doing a ton of trades. But hey, don't give up, man. Use the waiver wire. Use the waiver wire. I mean, your season's certainly not over yet, but I can definitely see where the frustration is there for sure. All right, time for president. Cooks looks like he has better upcoming matchups. Let's take a look into it. I don't remember off the top of my head between those two teams who has the better playoff schedule or anything like that. Let's take a look at Brandon Cooks, though. We'll start here. Got Tennessee, a beautiful matchup. Wow. The Jets, a decent matchup. Indianapolis, a beautiful matchup. Seattle, decent matchup. Jacksonville, beautiful matchup. End of the season, it's ugly. It's the Chargers and San Francisco, number 2, number 8, respectively. But yeah, I mean, those are good matchups coming up. Let's take a look at Adam Thielen as well. Let's see here. Top 15 receiver on the year. It is a little bit steeper. I mean, he's got Green Bay, San Francisco, Detroit, Pittsburgh, Chicago, the LA Rams, and Green Bay. It is tougher. You're not wrong, but he can play well against good defenses, right? Against good secondaries. So I still like Thielen more. I like the offense that he's tied to more. LeBron's brain weighing in here. Thielen for sure. He gets red zone targets. Yeah, he absolutely does. So I mean, especially in like half PPR and standard leagues, he is probably the more valuable receiver. Let's see here. I mean, let's take a look at the red zone targets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11 on the year. How many touchdowns does he have? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 11 targets, 7 touchdown receptions. I mean, that's not bad at all. But listen, man, both of these receivers. So Adam Thielen is a top 15 guy. Let's take a look at Cooks. He's still a top 20 guy, depending on scoring format, of course. But you could argue this either way if you're looking at matchups, right? Cooks does have the better upcoming schedule, at least through week 15. Week 16, 17 is not great. But at the same time, I just personally have higher conviction in Adam Thielen, and he's been a lot more consistent on the season. We really haven't seen Cooks been as consistent as he was in those first 3 weeks. He's really only had 2 games over 10 points since. So I would lean Thielen here, but you can make an argument for Cooks, absolutely. Simon President, thanks. Appreciate it, fellas. Yeah, that's what we're here for, my dude. No problem at all. All right, let's see what else we got going on here in week 11. Got Patty Mahomes at Dallas. Should be a good matchup. Dalvin Cook's got Green Bay. It's not the worst matchup. Josh Jacobs got Cincinnati. Gosh, Josh Jacobs a bad performance last night. Debo in San Francisco got Jacksonville. Michael Pittman, a tough matchup at Buffalo. Conklin's got Green Bay. Darrell Williams, although I'm not sure he's the RB1 anymore, has Dallas, a relatively tough matchup. Let's take a look here. Christian Kirk has got Seattle. Christian Kirk's really filled in nicely with both DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray out. He's put up 2 pretty solid stat lines over the past 2 years, at least the past 2 weeks, not past 2 years, at least in full PPR, that is. So just a little side note there. All right, let's see here. Eli Mitchell's going to have Jacksonville. This is going to be a good test tonight versus the Rams because he's got 3 games in a row with double-digit fantasy points, and this will be a good test tonight to see how well he plays against the Rams overall. Kirk Cousins will get Green Bay. I mean, I expect a mediocre game out of Kirk Cousins. I expected more out of him versus the Chargers. Um, Negative rushing yards and a fumble hurt his stat line. DeAndre Swift has got Cleveland. It's not a great matchup, but I just at this point, man, I think Swift might be relatively matchup proof. He had 130 rushing yards against Pittsburgh. Let's see here. Michael Carter, man, has got Miami. He played very, very well against Buffalo. Michael Carter is like at this point, due to volume, kind of a must-start guy. A bad start versus the Colts, but other than that, in the past couple of weeks, he's played phenomenal football. After doing that trade, my team is still probably number 1, so I'm not too upset. There you go. There you go. I have Eckler and CMC in a 10-man league, and they put in work. Yeah, that is a filthy duo. I mean, I can't imagine having those 2 guys going to bat for you on a weekly basis. So, yeah, nothing wrong there. Let's see here. AJ Brown's got Houston, a good matchup. We got Travis Kelce at Dallas. Gaskin's got the Jets. Man, you guys know I don't like recommending Myles Gaskin at all, but this matchup against the Jets is just going to be too good to ignore in Week 11. Marvin Jones has got San Francisco. Not a good matchup at all. And gosh, Marvin Jones has just become, I mean, really since those first 2 games and then Week 6, he's done nothing notable. You could argue Week 3 as well versus Arizona, but he's just done nothing notable whatsoever, man. Russell Wilson. What happened with Russell Wilson last night versus Green Bay? He gets Arizona, Washington, San Francisco. I don't know how much we can trust Russell Wilson, like until he faces Houston in Week 14. It's going to be very difficult to monitor, but we should get a good read on it. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Carolina Panthers played very well against Arizona this past weekend, so we'll see what happens. Joe Mixon's got Las Vegas. Higgins has got Las Vegas. Let's take a look at T. Higgins as well. From full PPR, he's been pretty consistent on the year. Ramondre Stevenson, man, I really like him against Atlanta, especially if Harris is out here. Devonta Smith, oh my gosh, man, I thought this man was on pace for a 40-point game, having 2 touchdowns in the first half. He gets New Orleans, the Giants, and the Jets, and a bye week, then Washington, the Giants, and Washington. He got dropped in my primary league. I'm so angry I did not pick up Devonta Smith. He is trending in a beautiful direction here towards the end of the season, man. Keep an eye on Devonta Smith if he is available in your personal fantasy league. All right, let's see here. Justin Herbert's going to get Pittsburgh. I don't love this matchup, and Justin Herbert, as of late, has been trending just in an inconsistent fashion, right? Week 9, a beautiful matchup, but it's just so crazy, right? Week 5, 42 points. Week 6, 11 points. A bye week. Week 8, 13 points. Week 9, 31 points. Week 10, 12 points. I mean, he's just been completely all over the place, man. Very, very frustrating, man. Mike Williams, I'm officially panicking on, guys. I mean, geez. Do you guys remember when he went 18, 18, 29, 1 point, 32 points, and then now he's just completely dropped off? It's just wild. It's just wild. Let's see here. I'm already trying to get James Robinson back. Yeah, man, having Eckler, CMC, and James Robinson would be absolutely filthy. I mean, Christian McCaffrey does not have a good fantasy playoff schedule. But I also really like David Montgomery. His playoff schedule is almost as good as Robinson's, if not better. Yeah, they're right neck and neck. Technically, as things stood in Week 10, Robinson had the best, and then Montgomery had the second best. If you can get either of those guys and add them to make that trio of Eckler, CMC, and then Robinson or Montgomery, that's very, very strong overall. In my primary league, I've got CMC, then I've got I've got David Montgomery and James Robinson. Then I've got Javonte Williams, who's got a very strong strength of schedule as well in the playoffs. So I think any combination of those guys would be phenomenal for your fantasy season, my guy, especially if you're already in a position to get into the playoffs, right? Because then if you can start those 3 guys on a weekly basis, it's going to do a lot for you. Listen, CMC, like I was just saying, has a tough playoff schedule, but I don't really care because he's Christian McCaffrey as long as he's healthy. Eckler, I don't remember off the top of my head where he's at, but at the same time, I don't necessarily care because he's Austin Eckler. But David Montgomery or James Robinson, absolutely worth trading for. They are going to look phenomenal come playoff time, week 15 through 17. So keep an eye on them, man. And I think if you can trade for either of them, it's absolutely worth doing so for sure. All right, let's see what else we got going on in week 11. Kyle Pitts has got New England. Hunter Renfrow's got Cincinnati. Ooh, let's see here. Noah Fant's on bye week. Jerry Judy's on bye week. CH should be returning. If not, he should be back the following week. Tom Brady, 2 losses in a row with a bye. Well, really a loss, a bye week, and another loss. At least Tom Brady played relatively well from a fantasy standpoint in that week 8 loss, but man, did he look rough in week 10? Like, I'm not reading too much into this at all, man. Don't get me wrong. He's got the Giants, Indianapolis, Atlanta, 3 bad secondaries coming up. Then Buffalo, New Orleans, Carolina. That's a tough stretch. And then he gets the Jets in week 17. And I don't remember off the top of my head who week 18 is, but I do know it's a divisional game. Hey, all I'm saying is the Bucks. I really thought they were going to play much better coming off of that week 8 loss. But now I'm going to go with that same thesis that coming off of 2 losses, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady on Monday Night Football have a monster night versus the New York Giants, right? I mean, I would be highly surprised if they did not. All right, Kenyon Drake finally came back to earth in this past week, only 4 points on average. Not a great day overall for Kenyon Drake. But we already did our reactions yesterday, so let's just keep seeing what week 11 is bringing our way. Taylor Heineke's got Carolina. That's semi-interesting. The Rams are on bye week, so no Darrell Henderson next week. Antonio Gibson, very surprising plays versus Tampa Bay, 20 points on average. Gets Carolina, another tough matchup, but maybe he'll play okay. We'll see. Stephon Diggs finally getting that stat line that you drafted him for, although I've been a fan of Stephon Diggs all season long. He gets Indianapolis, New Orleans, and New England. Relatively tough matchups coming up, man. Scary Terry, we talked about already tonight. If you can trade Scary Terry for the right value, I do not hate that at all at this point in the season. Some tough matchups coming up. Dearness Johnson obviously is going to be based upon the health of Nick Chubb, so keep an eye out on him. But he does face Detroit, so he could get involved either way. All right, Mark Ingram has got Philadelphia. Even if Kamara comes back once again, keep an eye on this matchup because Philly is very, very, very porous against opposing running backs. Let's see. We got AP at Houston. NFL.com, NFL Fantasy got projected at 12 points. I don't know if that's going to happen, but could I see him finding the end zone? Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Tyler Lockett disappointed in his return with Russell Wilson, but let's just be honest, the Seahawks disappointed overall. Jalen Waddle played pretty decent, 61 receiving yards versus Baltimore on Thursday Night Football. He gets the Jets, not an awful matchup. Technically, the Jets have been pretty good against opposing wide receivers, so we'll see how that plays out. Dak Prescott should fare pretty well against Kansas City in a Sunday mid-afternoon shootout. Leonard Fournette has got the Giants. Listen, man, I don't think we can really. It depends. If Leonard Fournette's the third RB on your team, I think we're starting Leonard Fournette at this point for the rest of the season. He gets the Giants, a tough matchup at Indy, a good matchup at Atlanta, a tough matchup at Buffalo, a tough matchup at New Orleans, tough matchup at Carolina, then a phenomenal. I mean, if anything, if you think you can make it to the championship, hold on to Lenny Fournette because he gets the Jets in week 17. All right, let's see here. DK Metcalf, a stinker of a game, but we just talked about that. Stinker a game for the Seahawks. I mean, he gets Arizona, Washington, San Francisco. Should be able to bounce back in the coming weeks here. Our boy JJ, Justin Jefferson's got, 2 very good games in a row. Only 1 game on the season, week 8 versus Dallas without double-digit fantasy points. He gets Green Bay, San Francisco, and Detroit. I think he's trending in the right direction. Pat Freiermuth, someone we did not talk about at all, right? A little bit of I did recommend benching him, right? This was a big topic Saturday night once we knew that Big Ben was out. I recommended benching him because a lot of this value that he's gained over the past 3 weeks has come from the chemistry with Big Ben Roethlisberger. Now, I do look for him to get back on track here in Week 11 with Big Ben coming back. Then he gets Cincinnati and Baltimore. Week 11 will be against Chargers Sunday night football. So I like where Freiermuth is at right now. Let's see here. Alvin Kamara, if healthy, has got Philly. Gosh, that's just it's a beautiful start if he's healthy, right? Let's see here. Jalen Hurts. I expected him to play a lot better, and he played better than the past few weeks versus Denver. But nonetheless, we'll see if he can bounce back versus New Orleans. He's still been a phenomenal fantasy quarterback to own on the year, so we'll see what happens there as well. All right, let's see here. Time for President. Devonta Smith and Cooks are available on the waivers. Would you guys go for Smith or Cooks? I'm also starting Hurts and quarterback next week. And for Stafford, I'm leaning more towards Smith. Thoughts? Yeah, I would pick up Smith here. He's got phenomenal matchups coming up, man. So I'm all for Devonta Smith right now. I'm beating myself up for not picking him up in my personal league. And I really wanted to. For some reason, I just couldn't pull the trigger on it, dropping Jarvis Landry or Michael Gallup, and I really wish I did. He's trending in the perfect direction, man, and some very, very good fantasy matchups coming up overall. So, yeah, I mean, especially if you got Hurts in there as well, I would lean Devonta Smith all day long here. I mean, if you end up with Cooks, I would still put in a waiver number 2 for Cooks, but I would lean Smith here for sure. All right, let's see what else we got in Week 11. Carson Wentz at Buffalo, a tough matchup. Wentz very disappointing in this past game, man. Just 7 points versus Jacksonville. I don't know what happened there. Jonathan Taylor's got Buffalo, but we got to start him. I mean, James Robinson just had success. All right, no, I'm sorry, that was against the Colts, like I just said. But Michael Carter just had success against Buffalo. So I would still start Jonathan Taylor, who's been just absolutely tearing up the league. Mike Evans has got the Giants. That looks like a good start. Dan Arnold on the waiver wire must-adds of the week. Good. Decent matchup versus San Francisco, I should say. Gronk might come back versus the Giants. I like Gronk in Week 11, man. Let's see what else we got here. Emmanuel Sanders got the Colts. Kareem Hunt might come back this week. That'd be very nice. J.J. Hawkinson, a stinker of a week, but he's got Cleveland. Deontay Johnson, a pretty solid week in Week 10. I mean, I guess he's been closer to 9 points the last 2 weeks, but he's got the Chargers. Technically, it's a tough matchup, but I would still consider starting him. Keenan Allen's got Pittsburgh in that same exact matchup. I don't mind starting these Chargers receivers versus the Pittsburgh Steelers secondary, as it has not been too phenomenal on the season whatsoever. Najee Harris got the Chargers. Aaron Jones is not going to play more than likely, but he's got Minnesota. So that really covers just about everyone heading into Week 11, at least all the major guys, I should say. All right, Joe, what's going on, man? Who would you start at running back, Nixon, Robinson, or Swift? Wow. I would be interested to see who you have filling in the rest of your spots, because you could start all of these guys, or at least 2 of them on top of it, RB1, and still be looking very, very strong overall. But this is tough. Let's pull up the matchups. Man. Robinson really impressed, man. Like I started him in both my primary leagues. I was not confident in it, but he had a pretty good week overall. So let's take a look here. Let's start with Mixon here. Let's see here. I mean, Mixon is, statistically speaking, the best running back out of the group. He's got Las Vegas, who's 24th against the position. So I'm already leaning towards Mixon. I mean, as much as I like these next 2 guys, Robinson's got San Francisco. It's a fantastic matchup as well, 23rd against the position. And then Swift himself has got Cleveland. That's the worst start, but Swift's been very, very good on the season as well. I'm going to lean Mixon here, but I really like Robinson as well. For me, it's Mixon or Robinson, and I got nothing bad to say about Swift. We're just looking at matchups here. I think Mixon's the best start, then Robinson, then Swift. The way that you have them listed is the order I would go there. Septimus, what's going on, man? How does Eli Mitchell and Jerry Judy for David Montgomery sound? I think that's a good trade. Yeah. I would do that trade. It helps you in the long run. I would absolutely do that trade for sure. I mean, I love Eli Mitchell, which I'd never thought I'd say because I've been so down on the San Francisco 49ers running backs in general on the season. But at the same time, man, I actually think that's a very good trade. If you can get that done, I have no problem whatsoever with that trade at all. At all. All right, let's see here. Guys, make sure you hit that like button, man. If you're new to the channel, make sure you sub down below. Uh, and let's just keep on rolling. We should get Steven in here in a couple of minutes as well. I'm going to get some Madden fired up, which means I'm going to have to uh, change my webcam. Apologize about that, guys. All right, let's get going here. Yeah, I mean, if you guys could make a trade for David Montgomery that involves, not necessarily losing a running back of extreme value and packaging that said running back with a player of not as high caliber at the receiver or running back position, then I'm all for it. I actually really, really like that trade, man. I think that's a great overall trade. All right, let's see here. I'm going to get some Madden rolling on the night, boys. Like I said, hit that like button, man. Let's try and get as many new viewers to the stream as possible. And we should get Steven in here in a couple minutes as well. So let me know what you guys need for week 11. I know our Monday night streams are not always as active just because most people are waiting for these week 2 just end, and a lot of people already have everything they need for the current week. They're not as concerned about getting into week 11 just yet. Sorry, guys, I know I'm getting my face really close in there, trying to get a couple things set up here. But nonetheless, man, I do really appreciate you guys being out here tonight, hanging out for a bit, and we'll keep on rolling for a bit longer here. All right, Christian, should I trade away Swift for Aaron Jones? I don't know that I would, just because of the looming injury, right? Let's wait and see how serious this injury is. Let me see if there's any updates. I mean, I did not see anything whatsoever on Aaron Jones today. Let's see if there's any updates I can find. All right. He avoided major injury. So Packers get good news and bad news. Okay. Let's see here. It's not a long-term concern. Jones has worked through similar knee sprains in the past and missed just a couple of weeks. I mean, I think I would rather have Swift because it does look like this could be still something that takes a couple of weeks to get through. Let's see. How long will he be out? It says a mild MCL sprain. It's only going to be 1 to 2 weeks, says Christian. Okay. What's the rest of your running back depth look like on the season so far? Before this past Sunday, Swift is number 12, and Jones should be a bit higher. Jones is number 8. Okay, he's doubtful to play versus Minnesota and then LA at worst, and he gets the bye week. So I would assume that Jones is going to come back week 14 against Chicago. Then he'd have Baltimore, Cleveland, and Minnesota. Not the best stretch, but not the worst stretch overall. And then let's take a look at Swift as well in terms of strength of schedule overall. Swift has got Cleveland, Chicago, Minnesota, Denver, Arizona. Listen, man, here's what I will say about Swift. If you think you can get into the fantasy playoffs, man, Swift ends the season with Atlanta 30th against the position and Seattle 31st against the position. If you think you get in the playoffs, week 16 and 17, Swift is the better player to have. Let's see here. I have Saquon and Chubb still. I'm 7 and 3, 8 and 8. Man, I would just say whichever player you have higher conviction in, because these strength of schedules are relatively similar. You will lose Jones in the meantime, of course. I'm leaning Swift, especially if you think you get in the fantasy playoffs, but you can make an argument either way here. So I would follow your gut conviction. If you like Jones more, I'm not going to argue against it, my dude. Let's see here. Aaron Jones and Deontay Johnson for David Montgomery and Brandon Cooks. What are we thinking? I don't know about Brandon Cooks. So what I will say is I like the swap at running back. I think you're paying a little bit of a heavy price though. Okay. Johnson is, Cooks for Johnson is a downgrade for sure. Johnson's been extremely consistent on this season. So I would rather have Johnson Cooks. And while I do really like David Montgomery moving into the fantasy playoffs, and I mean, Aaron Jones will be out for at least 1 or 2 weeks, and then probably I think he won't come back till after the bye week is my personal prediction at the moment. So this is tough. I think it's a little bit too steep of a price to pay because Aaron Jones, the top 10 guy, Deontay Johnson's a top 20 guy, depending on scoring format. Brandon Cooks is just right outside the line, right? I would just rather have Johnson, man, and I think it's just a little bit too much. All right, let me see here. All right, Joe says I would keep Swift. Yeah. My main thing there is just looking at the fantasy playoffs, man. Swift has got the better overall schedule. I mean, gosh, those last few weeks are phenomenal, phenomenal. So I think that's if you think you can make the playoffs, man. Like I said, that's the guy to keep right there. All right, let's see here. Sorry, guys, trying to get one thing put together here. There we go. Trying to get our boy Steven in the house. It's like our invite did not work, so let's try and do this again. All right. Okay. Christian, where would you rank David Montgomery rest of the season? Very, very high. I mean, especially with going into the fantasy playoffs, right? His schedule is phenomenal. So very, very high. Who do I start next week? Michael Carter up or Montgomery at 6? I would lean Montgomery, but I really like Michael Carter as well. I think it's definitely between those two guys. Let's take another glance at these matchups just to get you the specific strength overall. So let's see here. All right, we got Steven in the his. Steven, what's up, man?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Just doing good, man. I'm doing great. We're debating here for Christian, Michael Carter, D Hopper, Montgomery at the flex next week. Let's see here. Michael Carter's got Miami, number 12 against the position. Now we're hopping into David Montgomery as well. Let's see. He's got Baltimore 20th against the position. For me, it's between the two running backs, and I'm leaning David Montgomery here for sure.
Yeah, actually, because I'm about to be putting up the must-start defenses for next week, and so I'm taking a look at that game. Right, I'm looking at how Justin Fields just performed against Pittsburgh, which was a vaunted defense, but he took advantage of them. Right, and I've seen his growth coming up to it. Right, but what am I talking about? Right, we're talking about David Montgomery here, but David Montgomery was the reason Fields looked better. David Montgomery was the reason this offense was able to put points up. Right. That is actually the reason I'm going away from the Ravens this week as a must start. I mean, maybe in some spots you could put him in there, but I think Montgomery's a strong play here. I think the Ravens defense, they haven't been the best against running backs, right? So I think Montgomery is going to be used a shit ton, man, and that's going to allow Fields to make the right play. So I like Montgomery here. And then, I mean, again, there you got D Hop and Michael Carter. I'm not too sure the Cardinals are going to put in D Hop or Murray or any of these guys because after this week they got a bye week, right? So if they're smart, they keep them out. So it's really between Montgomery or Carter, but I leave Montgomery.
I do too. And Septivis, would I start Pitts versus the Patriots or Knox versus Colts this week? Fool, PPR. That's a tough one. Let's take a look. I mean, Knox a little scary after what we saw out of him last week, right? Just 1 point on the day. I mean, it's really the problem with these Buffalo Bills players is they are just so wildly inconsistent because there's so many of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Pitts coming in around number 7 on the season. But here's the thing is the Patriots are the second best team against opposing tight ends at the moment. Dawson Knox facing the Colts. They're 27th. I think. Go ahead.
It goes further than that too. I mean, because like again, the Patriots, what do they do best? They knock out your X factor. Well, if you can knock out Kyle Pitts, that's it for the Falcons because Cordero Patterson got banged up in that Cowboys game. His practice is going to be limited all week. I would not be surprised if he's out next week, to be honest, because
It's
it's such a
Thursday
short
night
week.
too.
Yeah, it's such a short week. So honestly, I think the Falcons are going to be in a really shitty pickle here, and I think Kyle Pitts is going to get the short end of the stick too. I think Dawson Knox has a huge upside against the Colts defense. It's going to be really tough for the Colts to kind of constrain this Bills offense too because they've been getting beat over the top so much. But I like it. I think it's a smash play, maybe right, but it's definitely better than Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, I agree. I would lean Dawson Knox there. I think once again, this is the reason typically when a player's been injured, we like to give it a week before we start them, right? And I do think that he'll bounce back in pretty fair fashion against Steven's Colts as well. All right, Steven, where would you rank Montgomery rest of the season? What do you think about him?
I love him. I really do. I don't know, who loves him more out of me and John. I would probably lean John just because I know he's got a man crush on him. But yeah, I definitely think this is a guy who's got top 6 rest of the season upside, right? And I think the carries he's going to see is going to kind of go with that as well. The schedule, again, is another major thing. They've got one of the softest cupcake type of schedules rest of the season. I would not be surprised of at this point until rest of the season, he's a top 5 back, right? I definitely think that. I'm not saying he's the number 1 back. I think there's guys that are a hell of a lot more athletic than him, guys that are better pass catchers, are part of way better offenses, right? So he does have some limitations. I would say the primary limitation for him is just that, we see Fields start to expand his game a bit. We're seeing him run the ball more. At what point does Fields start taking away from his goal line touches, right? That scares me a bit with Fields, but honestly, we haven't really seen that happen yet, right? So yeah, I love him. If that doesn't give you enough conviction, I definitely think if you can get him at any point, you want to grab Montgomery.
Let me ask you this question. I did the waiver wire stream a little bit earlier before we hopped into this stream. I had Justin Fields in that conversation for the week. How do you feel about super flex leagues, deeper leagues, places like that? How do you feel about Justin Fields as a play for the rest of the season?
I don't know necessarily if I can give you a strong answer conviction-wise about rest of the season. But I mean, this week, for instance,
let me rephrase that. Maybe against bad defenses.
Against bad defenses, I definitely think it's there, right?
Yeah.
The scary thing is we have seen him grow seemingly every week, but he's been very shitty up until maybe last week or half of the game the week before that, right? So it's like we're saying a lot with that game against Pittsburgh, where their refs had their hands all over that game, both sides of the ball. So I don't know. I want to see another game of him really proving it against another AFC North team. I think that'd be important. But if he does well here, man, yeah, he might be really coming into that value because his rushing upside is like up there with all the best of them, right? He's a Hurts type of player.
Absolutely. Yeah, I like Justin. I just think he's progressed nicely.
Yeah.
All right, Ronald, what's up, people? What's going on, Ronald? Always good to have you here, my dude. Christian, do you think I should drop a player to pick up a defense, or do you think Tampa Bay would be fine? Problem is Saquon is going to be back most likely.
Yeah, so I will say definitely take a look at the must-start defenses video this week. I think there'll be some other defenses there you can take a look at as well. I don't know. I mean, I think that the Giants are going to be a problem for this defense in Tampa Bay. I've been putting them on the must-start videos probably a good majority of the season because they've got, always they just seem to have what it takes to get it done. But man, this secondary is starting to really prove me wrong, right? The secondary is saying, dude, we suck. Like, you can't do it. And what has really cemented it, right, with Vita Vea going down with injury, this run D is starting to look weak now too. Antonio Gibson, who I traded off, right? I still think you got to be scared of him, just ran all over this team, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's scary, right? And Saquon's coming back. I think that's a scary thing for this defense. But shit, Devontae Booker could do it, right? And Daniel Jones with a full week, bye week wise of getting these receivers maybe a little bit more healthy. I don't know if it's a great matchup. But with that said, I mean, if you're in a position where you'd have to drop a player, maybe you don't want to do that. But if there's a better defensive option and maybe an option that you see on that must start video, maybe drop the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense because they've been playing like dog shit over the past week or two.
So let me ask you this question as a sneak peek: who is a good streaming defense here in Week 11? Because I'm going to need one.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this: the Dolphins are definitely an interesting play here in some leagues, some deeper leagues, right? And I'm trying to, there's some other guys as well that are going to be available based on your leagues, but I think that the Dolphins are a nice grab here. I think the Cowboys are potentially another defense that you could potentially play, even though they're playing against Kansas City. But we've seen the turnover possibilities playing against Kansas City all year long.
Sure.
But yeah, I would say the Dolphins are the one that's really stepping out on the page right now because of that matchup against the Jets. And not how they just played against the Baltimore Ravens, but how they played over the past couple weeks. They're starting to show me some promise, right? That they can go out there and play hard despite the offense sucking. And now that they're playing the Jets, Mike White, who knows who's at quarterback? Honestly, I wouldn't be
Joe
totally
Flacco.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Joe Flacco's out there, honestly, at this point. So
Yeah.
I do think it's a good matchup.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, the Dolphins were great last year defensively, so maybe they can get some of that firepower back.
They've got the personnel, right? They were banged up all over the place. And I
Sure.
think this team was going through kind of a drama crisis because they didn't know at any given moment if, their quarterback was going to be vaulted out, if a bunch of players were going to get vaulted out the door for Deshaun Watson. We heard a ton of rumors just about Tua, but dude, there were tons of rumors about other assets on the defensive side that would have been traded out of the house because that's what the Texans wanted. The Texans wanted two good defensive players as well. So, man, don't act like that didn't have an impact on this locker room as well.
Sure, fair point.
Yeah.
F. Eckler or Kamara? I think I want to lean Eckler here, just with the looming knee injury for Kamara. But regardless, we got to look at this matchup here in Week 11. It's very, very good for the Saints. I mean, can't you see maybe Kamara playing a little bit less than usual, especially with Ingram he's played so well. And this is a very winnable game for these Saints. It's a very good matchup overall. Oh, it's tough. Oh, why do you?
I will say this though too. The one thing to add to this is that TJ Watt's down, right? TJ Watt's with it. Who knows how long it'll be, but he's not going to come back this week, right? And Minkah Fitzpatrick just tested positive for COVID too. So there are two key players on that Pittsburgh defense that are going to be out. And I believe that's who the Chargers are going up against, right? Or is that the week after? That might be the week after that.
Well, apparently we're not on our P's and Q's tonight, but we'll pull it up. I mean, Steven being an Eckler owner.
I know.
I mean, shouldn't you know these things?
Let's see here. They're playing Pittsburgh. They're playing Pittsburgh.
Okay, there we go. We're on our P's and Q's.
They're playing Pittsburgh.
It's a much better matchup for Kamara. Now, as long as you're asking on the week F as opposed to like on the season, as long as Kamara is healthy, for me, that's who I'd start. But don't get me wrong, Pittsburgh at times has given up a lot of points already, and Steven makes a great point there as well with the injuries. So you could definitely make the argument here as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, F, what wide receiver can I get for Terry, or what can I do? That's kind of the problem, right? I mean, I do like trading off of Terry McLaurin, looking at the strength of schedule left on the season. But who can you really get, right? You're probably going to lean for someone who's been playing in a similar fashion, but maybe has more upside. Maybe a DJ Moore, maybe a Mike Williams. You just want to look at strength of schedule and see what you can get. And you might even be able to trade them for like an RB2 as well. If there's a team out there really hurting at the wide receiver position who's maybe loaded up at running backs, you might be able to swing them for a running back who's not as needed on a roster. So sometimes it depends on the rosters out there, right? Do they need a receiver? What positions are they weak at? All of those things as well.
Yeah, I mean, Terry McLaurin's been a little disappointing, definitely outside of the top 14, which is where John and I thought he was going to be coming into the season. But if I'm moving off of Terry McLaurin, I'm definitely looking at either receiver that's going to bounce me into the top 15 or a running back that's going to get me into that top 15.
Yeah.
So you kind of want to go after guys that I would think have struggled over the past 2 weeks where the fantasy owner is getting a little spooked, right? Or potentially if somebody offered me, because I love Terry McLaurin just as a player, like I'm a big fan, maybe that's a guy to go after as well and just kind of target him. Or if there's a fan of the Washington football team, go after him too, because that does factor into trades, right? If a guy's a big fan of a team or a player, they will take that deal just because they love him.
Absolutely. Yeah. Use that emotional value
Yeah,
in those trades for sure.
yeah.
Christian, in my other league, should I trade someone like Daryl Henderson for Montgomery, or is that too much? It depends. If you're looking ahead for the fantasy playoffs, like I know we've been talking about this a lot over the past couple of nights, right? Henderson's still got the fourth easiest schedule for running backs in the fantasy playoffs, so keep that in mind as well. And he's got some great matchups coming up as well. Like I love both of these running backs on the rest of the season. And let's be honest, as much as I love Montgomery, Henderson's a part of the better offense here as well. So you can make an argument either way. I don't think it's necessarily too much, but I think it's a pretty even swap overall. And I don't know how necessary it is, right? So keep that in mind as well.
Yeah.
But you can make the argument for either of these guys. They've both been phenomenal in the season when healthy, right?
I'll tell you what, Woods going down makes this trade a little bit more confusing because if Woods is there and you got all these options at receiver, maybe the Rams are more inclined to just spread the ball out all over the place. And
Yeah.
Henderson, maybe he loses some touches, right? But I don't know. I still think even, with status quo, I think Montgomery's more important for this offense in general. And it sees a very soft schedule. But yeah, it really is. I think you hit it on the nail, right? It's like these guys are so close in value. It's like, are you really making anything happen here?
Exactly. And whew, I like both of them a lot. I really do. So I think either way, you'll be fine. Wild Boy Trey, what's going on, man? Start Kadarius Tony against Tampa Bay. I mean,
I love that in caps too, man. I love my boy Tony.
I'm way off this Kadarius Tony
Yeah, I know
wave.
you are. I know you are.
He hasn't done anything since that big performance. I mean, he
I
has
know
done
you are.
nothing. Is it a good matchup? Sure, but he's been so inconsistent. I don't even know who's playing wide receiver for the Giants anymore. I don't know who will be back at that point in time, but I would imagine things are going to continue to be pretty convoluted and pretty uh, in terms of how many wide receivers that are available. Right? If everyone's healthy, if Sterling Shepard comes back and Galladay's back, uh, I just don't know that there's that much value there.
Yeah. That's kind of the sketchy thing about this entire Giants receiving core. I mean, the upside for Tony is obviously all over the place, right? But it's kind of still a shot in the dark with any of
Yeah,
these Giants receivers.
yeah,
And I mean, I think Sterling Shepard, he'll probably miss, I would imagine. So there's definitely an opportunity for Tony to step up and get it if he does play,
sure.
which I think he's on track to do. But he's not a smash, right? He's not a smash despite how much I love him.
Christian, do you think I should just drop Tampa Bay and stream defenses for the rest of the season since I'm in an 8-man? There's streams listed the weeks. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I mean, I think we both always kind of recommend a kind of a stream approach in most senses, and especially in an 8-man league, you are going to get more opportunities for a stream that is high caliber than your other competitors, right? That are maybe
yeah,
the 10 or 12-man leagues. I mean, those are a lot harder to get a good stream, but shit in your league, I mean, you might have the Titans available or the Patriots available. And if you got those defenses available, I mean, you got to go grab them this week with who they're
yeah,
going up against, right?
yeah. Let's see here. Ronald, you guys on the stream during the game? I need Debo to get 12 or less for me to win. I don't believe we'll be actively streaming during the game. Maybe I will be on here the very beginning of the game, but I do plan on probably being off around 8:30. So unfortunately not. But we will, prayers for Ronald tonight with getting that dub. Tonight's a big game for a lot of you guys, me included.
Big game for you, John. Big game for you.
I don't think I'm gonna win this
No,
one, man.
yeah, that was tough. I took a look at that today. You basically got to hope that Brandon Ayuk goes like insane.
I got Matt Gay, bro. I got Matt Gay.
Matt Gay is going to hold it together for you. I'm telling
I've,
you, he's going to be the reason you stay in this.
I've got the Rams defense as well to give me maybe 5 points, a little buffer there.
Yeah.
It's possible, but I can tell you one thing, man. I almost dropped Michael Gallup and Russell Gage and picked up Devonta Smith and started him, and I'm really, really angry at
Yeah,
myself
that
for
was a
that.
tough one for you. That was a really tough
Yeah.
one for you.
And I mean, I knew I really liked these matchups coming up for Devonta Smith. He's got one of the easiest remaining strengths of schedules, like even outside of the fantasy playoffs. And even with the fantasy playoffs, it's amazing. And now, of course, the best team in our league picked him up. So,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? James Martin, would you drop Jamison Crowder for Schroernick? Listen, I don't mind that move, right? But we do want to see how he plays tonight and how heavily he's involved with this Rams offense. I know the rumors have been that he's going to take over Robert Woods' position.
Heard he's going to do some returns too.
Yeah, so I don't hate this. I mean, Jamison Crowder's not really bringing you a lot of value, but it might be best to just give it tonight and see what happens. But once again, it's just Jamison Crowder. Like, you're not losing too much value here. So if you want to take the swing now on the likelihood that potentially this does evolve into something, then I don't mind that as well.
I would just say if you've ever got an upside play at the opportunity cost of dropping Jamison Crowder, you can usually go with it, right? Because Crowder, especially this year, I mean, with the quarterbacks that have been rolled out there on a weekly basis, it's just a little scary right now for him.
All right. Any concern over Russell Wilson? Asked Chase. I would say concern. There's some tough matchups coming up is the main thing, but I mean, Russ is just such a hard quarterback to read from a fantasy perspective, right? He has weeks where he has 25 points plus 3 weeks in a row, and then he comes out and he has 10 or less points 3 weeks in a row. So I would say concern is fair, but he's also a very inconsistent fantasy quarterback as well.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I would kind of. The one thing, though, right, is that maybe he did kind of rush it out onto the field with that injury.
Yeah.
I'd be a little bit more concerned than just the usual Russell Wilson having a random ass game where he skunks it up, because that hand injury was serious. And I get it. The weather was bad. Packers defense is better than we think, but he didn't look good. He really didn't. Yeah, so I would definitely not put him in the category of like, oh, it's Russell Wilson. He's a must start every week, right? I would always be evaluating my options at quarterback until he kind of proves to us otherwise.
Yeah, that's probably fair too. This was an ugly game for Seattle overall.
Yeah.
Very ugly. All right, let's see here. Would y'all trade Justin Jefferson for Mike Williams? No. Unless you're on the other side where you're receiving Justin Jefferson, then I'd say absolutely yes, but no. Not at all, man. Only one game on the season below 10 points, below double-digit points for Justin Jefferson. He's been phenomenal in the year. No, I would not do this at all.
Mike Williams looks like he is falling off a cliff. Like it's
We're hitting the panic button.
Yeah, that's a big panic button, because it literally looks like a 6'4", 5" version of me out there. Like nothing's happening. Nothing is happening. Like, geez.
Fair enough, and it's a good transition to this next point made by Christian. I'm so happy with Keenan Allen. He's so consistent in PPR. Is it crazy to say he's top 5? No. I mean, top 10 for sure. Yeah, top 12, of course. Yeah. But no, I mean, it's not crazy if you value him at that level.
I mean, I think top 5. I mean, yeah, I think that's a little bit rich, but I get what the general sentiment is. Like, he's been good, and he's going to get better and better and better. And this is going to be one of those late season guys that ends up making a massive difference for your team to make a push, because Mike Williams is falling off a cliff, but Keenan Allen on the other side is going up, right? And I don't think it's not a coincidence that those two things are happening simultaneously, right?
Sure.
I just think that this offense is going to him. Now, I will say this, right? Chargers offense has got a lot to figure out, because they are looking sketchy over the past few weeks as well, right? Including Justin Herbert too. So I think once they do find that gel and they find that click that they were doing early in the season, Keenan Allen's upside is even higher.
Sure. V. Locken, what's going on, man? Should I trade Pittman for Robinson full PPR? I'm low at running back. My wide receivers are A.J. Brown and Godwin. I don't hate this trade. I mean, I love Michael Pittman, man, but I think this is a fair swap when we're looking at the value between the two players. If you're truly hurting at the running back position, can you get by with Godwin and Brown? Yeah, absolutely. So I don't hate this trade. I don't.
John, let me ask you a question. Like, if this would result in him getting a better running back, then even a guy like James Robinson. If you could trade Godwin or AJB for a better running back than Robinson, would you do that? Because in my opinion,
Yeah, I would.
those guys are tradable. Despite how good they are, how good they can be. Godwin, I own him. I'm scared of him on a weekly basis recently because of this injury thing that just keeps popping up. It seems like it's a different part of his body every single time, right? And AJB, I mean, those are 2 weeks in a row where it's just been inconsistent value. I,
Yeah,
I do think we're seeing a trend though with AJB that it's kind of if he's going up against a tough corner, that's probably
yep.
going to be a tough week for him.
Oh,
This
yeah.
guy feasts on crappy
Because
corners.
who else is there that
Yeah.
defenses need to focus on? Like they're getting it done with all these random guys. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think you're absolutely right. If he's facing a guy like Marshawn Lattimore, it's not going to be a good week.
Yeah.
So I don't hate that at all. I mean, I think that's a good point by Steven as well because Pittman's actually been one of the more consistent.
Very good.
Maybe the more consistent out of all those guys there.
Yeah.
And I would lean towards maybe. I mean, it's going to be hard because AJ Brown's coming off of a tough game, but I would lean keeping Pittman and Godwin here and trying to move Brown. And I still think he's good value being a wide receiver 1. And when he plays bad secondaries, he's going to absolutely ball out. So it's not like it's an unfair trade. But yeah, I think that's a good point.
The reason I say AJB too is because I think he has the best trade value just because of name. I mean, shit. Sure. AJB was a second or third round pick, and that still carries for a lot of fantasy owners. I mean, if AJB was being shopped in our league, I know people would have to give up a decent amount for him. So I think you're going to get the highest return out of him.
Sure. All right, let's see here. Short sport highlights. What's going on, man? Do you think I will win my game? I lost by 30 right now. I have Stafford, Henderson, Higbee, and Deebo Samuel. My opponent has Mitchell. Okay, so you're down 30.
You got a chance. You got a good chance.
Shot. Yeah. I mean, Stafford alone could have 30 points. I mean,
and if he connects with Higbee for 1 touchdown, I mean, you're probably a lock to get back in there. I think your biggest thing is Mitchell.
Henderson and Sam and Deebo could have huge games too. I think you got a solid chance here.
Yeah,
you got a solid chance.
Yeah, your biggest thing is just Elijah Mitchell, him holding it off, and not getting too much work. But yeah, you got a lot of talent left on your team.
Absolutely. James Martin, same. I need like 20 points for my week. Hey, I'm with you, my dude. I'm with you. Christian, I need Matt Gay to drop 7 to win, and I need I read a bet that if he doesn't score more, then I have to wear a shirt that says I'm gay to school.
Wow, that's intense.
I'm gay to school, which will probably get me in trouble. Okay, well,
you're gonna get a hardcore suspension for that, man.
Yeah, we don't want you to get in trouble, but
I think he's going to do it for you regardless. Matt Gay's been super consistent. Yeah.
He's been one of the best kickers on the season. I'm looking at next week when he's on bye week, and I'm like, I don't think I can drop this guy.
I don't know why you would drop him. I mean, he's like a Tyler Bass. You just put him in. You don't have to worry about the position.
Exactly.
It's just
I think if I'm not mistaken, he hasn't had less than.
It's like 7 or 8 points.
8 points. I want to say 9 points, but it might be 8 on the season at all.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So I don't think you need to worry too much there. And, hopefully, you don't get any trouble. Ronald Crowder will be waiting for you on the waiver wire. Yeah, fair enough.
That sounded so ominous when I first saw it for some reason. Like I said in my head, like Crowder will be waiting for you.
Yeah,
but he will be, man. He will just
waiting at the
there.
end of the alley or something for you. I'm sorry. I'm playing Madden and Lamar Jackson just fumbled, and Mika Fitzpatrick's picked it up and is returning it.
Perfect.
All right, James Martin. I'm in an FAAB league, so if Sharnick goes off, I wouldn't have enough FAAB to pick him up, and I just lost Robert Woods. I need a wide receiver bad. Hey, like we just went over, Crowder will be waiting for you. Make the move. Why not?
Yeah.
All right, who's on your waiver wire? And you can always bid 0. There you go as well. All right, Steven, are you needing to sign off? I know you were just hopping on for a quick second.
Yeah. I will have to jump off. We're gonna get that defense video out for you guys. So I already saw some questions about it, but make sure you jump in there and leave some comments as well. So we'll get your defenses sorted out this week. We're going to see some guys that are making the video that have not been touched on yet. So that'll be fun.
Interesting.
Yeah. Dolphins. This will be a first time appearance for the Dolphins. Okay. Let's see if they let me down. Let's see if they let me down. Yeah.
Guys, also, make sure you go ahead.
I want to say this too. It was funny. I was at work today. I was talking to a guy and his name was Michael White. And I was like, at the end of the call, I was like, so I don't know if you watch football, but do you know who Mike White is? And he was like, I'm a Jets fan. Of course I know Mike White.
Nice.
And I just got into like this like 10-minute conversation about Mike White. It was awesome. But yeah, I'll leave you guys with that. But basically, man, Mike White is the real deal.
4 picks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, make sure you go and check out Steven's must-start defenses of the week. We'll have that drop tonight for you guys. We will both be on tomorrow night, right,
Yep.
Steven?
Yep.
7:30.
Yep. Sugar and
7
sweet. 7:30.
Okay. I don't know what that means, but we will both be here tomorrow at 7:30 sharp for some great fantasy Q&A to get you guys ready,
Yeah.
even more ready heading into week 11. So check out Steven's video, drop a like on it later on. And Steven, we appreciate you. Thanks for swinging by for a little bit tonight.
Yeah.
And we will talk to you tomorrow, my dude.
Yep. Appreciate you guys.
That was that sounded like you don't really appreciate. You're just ready to leave.
No,
man.
I appreciate you guys. Well, I appreciate everybody except for John. I need John to lose this week so that I can take over him in our standings. But it's okay. I appreciate y'all. I love the Catch fam. John, not so much today.
That's more of a Steven send-off. All right, man. We will talk to you tomorrow, my dude.
All right. Love you guys.
All right. Peace out, bro. All right. Cyber for President, I had Woods in 3 leagues. I also have Stafford in all leagues. If I only had chosen Cooper Kupp instead of Woods in the draft, yeah. I don't think you're the only person who is feeling that way at all. I think there's a lot of us who are like, if only I chose Jamar Chase or Cooper Kupp in the draft, how would my team look right now? And I certainly understand that frustration as well. So it's very easy to get caught up in retrospectively looking at your drafts, man. But try not to do it. Try not to do it because it can definitely be a bummer overall, right? So trust me, there have been nights where I've just laid there and been like thinking about every move I made within the draft. So try not to do it. It could be unhealthy for your fantasy squad. All right, let's see here. Let me get caught back up here as we get into some Madden as well. All right, Simon President, thoughts on the wide receivers of the Rams? Listen, I don't have like a clear opinion, and I don't know that I will until after tonight's game. But I think that all these guys are worth taking a look at for sure. But we'll just kind of have to see how things fare out tonight. It's going to be a good football game tonight, guys. Christian, should I be concerned with Devontae Adams? No, not at all. I would not be concerned whatsoever. All right, let's see here. Chase early, but who would you lean this week between Wentz at Buffalo, Jones at Atlanta, or Wilson at Arizona? For me, it's Danny Dimes, baby. Let's get Danny Jones back in the mix. Oh my gosh, I just missed this extra point, guys. Let's get Daniel Jones back in the mix for sure. Listen, Dak Prescott and company just absolutely massacred this team. So that's where I would lean for sure. Sorry, guys. I thought I put Madden up on the screen, and now I'm seeing that I did not. All right, let's get this going. All right, let's try again. Show on stream. There we go. I'm at the end of a challenge here, and I just missed an extra point. Oh, what just happened? Okay. Yeah, Danny Dimes for me. A good stream on the week. Wentz, not a good stream, coming off an awful performance going up against Buffalo. Wilson, I mean, it's crazy that maybe you could take a swing on Wilson here. He is Russell Wilson, man. Let's not get that twisted. But at the same time, you could make an argument for Wilson as well. But he did look a little bit worrisome in that last game. So I think in terms of a stream, Daniel Jones is the guy to go with. I can't believe I'm saying that. I can't believe I'm saying that over Russell Wilson. All right. Should I try and sell high Pittman for someone like Hopkins or maybe a future top 10? I would not. Chase, it's Mac Jones. Thank you for correcting me. You're right. The Giants do not play the Falcons. I do kind of like Mac Jones as a streamer this week as well. I do kind of like Mac Jones. Yeah. But am I confident in him over Russell Wilson? I don't quite know because the Patriots are running the football so much. So I think I'd go with Wilson there. Yeah, I think I'd go with Wilson there. But if you really are feeling confident, go with Mac Jones. Why not, man? Why not? I don't hate that pick either. Oh gosh, dude, we just lost this game of Madden. If Eric Fisher can't make this tackle, oh my gosh, dude, why did I throw that football? Why did I throw that? I'm so bad at these challenges. All right, yeah, LeBron's brand. I don't think I would. I don't think I would do that. Yeah, I think I just hold on to Michael Pittman. He's been phenomenal on the season. I think you could argue he will be a top 10 wide receiver on the season. So I think I'd stick with our boy Pittman. Oh my gosh, guys, why did I throw that pass? Now at least I got all my timeouts, but I only got 25 seconds to score. This is scary. This is scary. Yeah, I actually do like Mac Jones as a stream on the week. So I'd be interested to see where you guys stand in terms of Mac Jones on the week. But I actually don't think it's too bad of a start. Uh, but I don't think he's going to give you a crazy high ceiling and maybe a safer floor than Russell Wilson. But Wilson probably giving you a little bit of a higher ceiling overall. All right, let's see if I can't make this come back here in Madden. We'll probably be ending the stream right around 8:30, so make sure you guys get any last-second questions in. Anything you guys need, make sure you guys let me know. Like I said, Steve and I will both be on tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. sharp, and excited to get into. I mean, Tuesday nights usually one of our more pop-in streams, so I'm excited to get into that tomorrow with you guys and break down some great fantasy Q&A tomorrow night as well. And we'll have our must-start defenses of the week dropping tonight, must-start kickers dropping tomorrow, and then our must-start quarterback, running back, wide receivers, and tight ends finishing out the week as well. So make sure you guys stay tuned. We got a lot of content coming your guys' way on the week. All right, I'm going to try this play again, but we're going to put in Megatron in place of Jerry Judy. And let's see. Wait, did I do that right? Okay, I did not do that right. We're still leaning on. Oh, wow. I did this completely wrong. Let's see if we can't get Brown up in the mix. And let's see. Oh, that was a beautiful pass. And what just happened? A.J. Brown, what are you doing? Guys, I cannot win on these full game challenges. I keep choking at the end is all I'm doing, man. I know you guys didn't see most of that game, but I was in control the whole time. That was ugly. All right, guys, let me know. I want to get your guys' opinion here on the day. I guess I should say on the night. Okay, I'm down 75-58, so already bad. My opponent has George Kittle. Okay, he's projected 84 points. I'm projected 80 points. I've got Ayuk. I've got Matt Gay, and I've got the Rams defense. I don't think I can pull this one off, but technically I can. All right, let's see here. Let's go with IDK. Let's go MVP, and let's see if we can't get a dub to end the stream. But let me know if you guys think I have a shot in that matchup. I don't think I do. If I don't win, then I'm 0-3 on the week. One of my worst weeks I've been on a pretty solid, run here in fantasy, and this has been one of the not so great weeks in a while here. But I really wanted to get this win in my primary league, man. I knew I should have taken a shot on Devonta Smith. I really messed that up, man. For some reason, I trusted Russell Gage. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why. All right, let's see here. All right, Ronald, projections don't matter one little bit. That's true. They're almost never right. That is also true. If a player typically scores 15 or 5 each week, they are projected as 10, but almost never finish as 10. That's definitely true. Yeah, Ayuk is projected 8 points, which has not been where he's been at as of late. I don't even think Matt Gay is projected correctly as well. Now, the Rams defense hasn't been very good from a fantasy standpoint, so I'm really just hoping they can get me like a solid 5 to 7 points and kind of hope boost my stat line for the week. But the biggest thing is I could have picked up Devonta Smith, and I felt really good about it. I had the waiver end, but Michael Gallup was still on my IR when active, so the waiver didn't go through. And then in the next morning, while he was still available, I didn't pull the trigger. I should have dropped both Gallup and Jarvis Landry and just picked up the player I had conviction in, but I did not. And if I had done so, I'd probably be in a good position here. All right, Simon for President, Renfro or Higgins rest of the season? I'm going Renfro there. I'm going Renfro, man. A true wide receiver one, where Higgins is more of a wide receiver two with the emergence of Jamar Chase. I don't have anything bad to say about Higgins, but I think I like Hunter Renfro just a tad bit more there. He's been relatively consistent on the season as well. Simon for President, I'm thinking of going with Mac Jones or Tua Stafford on bye. Yeah. If Tua's healthy, it's not a bad play either, but I'm going to lean. Oh, I really like Mac Jones this week, man. I really do. I'm going to lean Mac Jones there, but you could make the argument for either player. Yeah, for sure. Ronald, oh, yes, he should have. Yeah, I don't know. I was pretty busy Sunday morning, man. I'm really beating myself up for that one. I really am. Renfro is a PPR machine. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And he's been finding the end zone as of late as well. So that's always positive. But yes, in full PPR, he is an absolute stud, man. And he's got the full trust of Derek Carr as well. And I kind of view him as a wide receiver one, even with Darren Waller involved as well. Yeah, I like Hunter Renfro. Renfro is very safe floor, but with the limited upside, the TD rate is not going to hold up. Yeah, and as of late, he's been finding the end zone, but you're probably right there. I mean, he has not always been a consistent red zone guy. It's been nice to see it as of late. They faced some bad secondaries though as well, but yeah, I mean, you're not wrong there. But definitely a safe floor, especially in full PPR as well. So something to think about as well. And the thing with Higgins, I mean, like, I think Renfro is just a little bit more consistent. Those are future Waller targets. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. And we learned our lesson here, Ronald. We're never recommending benching Waller again, right? Bronco plays Van Jefferson or Odell and non-PPR. This is a tough question. It's a tough question, my dude. I think, let us know in the chat for Bronco plays, guys. Everyone's opinion here. Van Jefferson or Odell. Let's try and help him make this decision. This is a tough one. I could personally see either guy scoring, but I think I could see Van Jefferson scoring more than I can Odell. I don't really see a fantastic stat line for Odell on the night, man. It's tough. It's tough. But I think I'm leaning Van Jefferson. Let us know in the chat, guys. Van Jefferson or Odell Beckham tonight in non-PPR. Adam, I declined Renfro and Taylor for A-Rob and Chris Carson like week 2 or 3. Oh, that sucks. That hurts. That hurts. That's one that's going to sting on the season. But what are you going to do? All right. Ronald, because if he can throw in the end zone to Waller, a giant beast or a man, or Renfro, you're picking Waller unless people are draping on him. He was hurt. Sure. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Claudio says go with Van. I think you do too, just because he's already implemented into this offense. We already know what we can expect. We're already seeing them score on the season. I think I would lean Van Jefferson as well. Ronald, this week, definitely Van, but in the future, I would say Odell Beckham even. I think they both will be low-end boomer bust wide receiver 3s. Yeah, I basically agree with that analysis as well, Ronald. Yeah. I think Bronco plays. I think we're all kind of in agreement that Van Jefferson is the safer play here. And just don't forget that, Odell Beckham was struggling with the Browns, right? So just keep that in mind too, okay? But yes, I would lean Van Jefferson here for sure. All right, let's see if I can't get a stop in Madden here. Yeah, guys, let me know who you have playing tonight. Let me know who you have playing against you as well. it's gonna be a good football game tonight, guys. It really is. I know most of you guys have already let me know, but if you haven't, and while you're at it, man, go ahead and hit that like button if you guys haven't done so already. If you're new to the channel and listening in, make sure you sub down below, become part of the Catch fam as well. And we will keep on rolling, man. Probably going to be signing off around 8:30, like I said, but we got a couple more minutes here. So let me know what you guys need on the night. Let me know how everyone's weekend was, man. I definitely appreciate you guys coming out tonight as well. Ronald, people don't realize when you switch teams, you have to learn a new language. Absolutely. Words might mean one thing on the team he was on, but it's something completely different on the new team. It's not easy. Not at all. Not at all. And yeah, it usually, uh, unless it's like someone who's just absolutely been balling out, you want to wait at least a week to see how they kind of are implemented into that offense. Kind of similar to when players have been injured. Just give it a week, see how things work out. That way you're not risking anything too crazy. All right, man, I gotta get a stop and Madden here. I'm giving up. I'm just playing soft. Look at that, bro. What was that play? Who is this receiver? Claudio, I need Ayuk to have a good night. I'm down 6 going against Henderson. Yeah, I need like a 40-point game out of Ayuk. Hey, man, I mean, Ayuk's gone crazy in the past. Debo should be getting a majority of the defensive pressure from the secondary. So crazier things have happened. That's all I'm going to say. Odell will play, but he's going to run like fly rounds or straight crossers. Yeah, he's probably not going to be too crazy involved on the night. So I think you're right there. I think you're right for sure. Don't get me wrong. Like I could see him doing something in this game, but I think more than likely he doesn't do too much. And definitely, I would feel more confident in Van Jefferson overall. All right, let's see here. I'm hoping they decide to rest Debo at the end. It's possible. It's possible, but this might turn out to be a pretty competitive divisional game. He could always break one off. That's true. That's true. He is Debo Samuel. He likes to do that. So you're not wrong there. All right, let's see. Man, I'm getting scorched. Zach Pascal in the end zone. I mean OBJ. Yeah, he could. That's kind of the thing here. Probably he could. He could. Don't get me wrong. We'll see what happens though. I still feel more confident with Van Jefferson. But yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like at any point, Odell Beckham could do an Odell Beckham thing, but we haven't seen him do those type of Odell Beckham things in like a year. So I would not play him. No, I would not either, Ronald. Personally, I would not. You're kind of just banking on the hope that something breaks off there. So we shall see. Caleb, I traded Diggs and Connor for Devontae Adams. Good trader. Nah. I would have not done that trade, quite frankly. I love Devontae Adams, like don't get me wrong, but personally, I would have not done that trade at all. I have no problem with the way Stephon Diggs has played on the season, and James Conner is leading the league in rushing touchdowns. So yeah, if I'm just being real with you, my dude, I wouldn't have personally gone after that trade. As good as Devontae Adams is, I mean, Diggs has been extremely consistent. He's coming off his best game of the season, and like I said, Conner leads the league in rushing touchdowns. So personally, if it was my roster, I would have not done that trade. Just giving you my honest opinion, my dude. All right, looks like we've got the game kicking off here, or at least I'm getting the notifications. Oh yeah, we're good to go. 2nd and 8. Stafford bombing it to the 49ers defense. Odell Beckham making the tackle. I don't know what that play was. Whoa. Justin Young. Would you trade away A.J. Dillon and Chase for Jefferson? No. No. I would not. You're not gaining that much value with Jefferson over Chase, and A.J. Dillon's a very good back to have these next 2 weeks or so while Aaron Jones is out, and one of the best handcuff situations in the league. No, I would not. I would not do that. Let's see here. Caleb, I already have Cook and Harris, though. Okay, I mean, nothing wrong with that, man. I mean, Connor's still a phenomenal flex play. It's not the worst trade ever. Don't get me wrong. You got Devontae Adams, so like, Don't beat yourself up too much or anything. I wouldn't have personally done it. And don't get me wrong, if you have Cook and Harris, it makes it a little bit better for sure. Um, it's not an awful trade. Like, don't beat yourself up by any means. I just personally would have not done it. Ronald, I would not have, but if you had Connor as an RB4 and now he jumped value, might not be in the playoffs, so it's not horrible. I would have not done it, but it's not horrible. Diggs has fallen to low end wide receiver 1, where Devontae is legit top 5. Yeah, I mean, in terms of consistency, it's probably an upgrade at receiver, although Diggs is definitely trending in the right direction. Uh, but it's not an awful trade. It's not an awful trade, my dude. Don't beat yourself up or anything like that, my guy. Okay, so Matt Stafford trying to bomb it to Odell Beckham and threw an interception, so that was interesting. So I just need George Kittle to do like nothing tonight. Okay, George Kittle does nothing, I've got a pretty good shot at winning my matchup. What's the likelihood, though? I don't know. The Rams are pretty bad against opposing tight ends, so I don't know that I feel too crazy about that potentially happening. Diggs boom because they didn't play too high, but most teams are. Yeah, and I mean also like it was the Jets, right? I mean the Jets have actually been pretty good against opposing wide receivers, but nonetheless, it was the Jets. So like how much of we read into that, I don't know, but I still believe in Diggs on the season. Yeah, you guys know I've been a big supporter of Stephon Diggs on the season, especially in full PPR. Low end wide receiver is still not very good. He is not Adams. He's not, but Adams been past couple weeks. Adams been trending down. I mean, I get it. Jordan Love's been out there. Bad game script yesterday, and Diggs been trending up, right? So you can make an argument either way. I value running back too much to do that. Yeah, I do too. I would have not. I'm not going to be recommending trading James Conner anytime soon for you guys. I can tell you guys that much. All right, let's see if I can't make a stop in Madden, and I can. Charles Woodson with the interception, a pick 6 maybe. Oh no, just the quarterback to beat. Justin Herbert's very fast apparently. Woo, there we go. Odell Beckham talking to the coaching staff. He's saying, I made a tackle. Did you guys see that? That was sweet. All right, let's see here. Eli Mitchell getting a little pitch here. And he is tackled for a decent gain as I miss an extra point in Madden. Wow, that was ugly. Should I sell Jamar Chase for A.J. Brown and Renfro? I don't hate that trade, but I don't think I'd do it. I don't think I'd do it, man. Jamar Chase has been far too good on the season. A.J. Brown trending somewhat downward. I mean, he's a receiver we can start with confidence against bad secondaries, but against good secondaries, there's just no one else for the Titans or for opposing defenses to cover on the Titans, right? So I don't know that I feel crazy about that. I like Hunter Renfro in full PPR, but at the same time, I would say no to that. Ronald, hey man, good to see you here. Still would not in any way trade Dylan and Chase for JJ. There you go. Caleb, my roster is now Kyler Murray, Cook, Harris, Devontae, AJ Brown, Keenan Allen, Kyle Pitts, and 12-team PPR. Are there any moves he would make on this team? I don't quite think so, man. I really like this squad. Yeah. Great quarterback when healthy, 2 stud running backs, a couple great wide receivers, and a very consistent tight end. I don't think that I would make any moves there, my dude. Warner, trade Aaron Jones and CD for Patterson and Mike Evans. I'm 4 and 6. Here's the only issue here, my guy. Jones and Patterson are banged up right now. Like, I don't think that either of them help you in the foreseeable future. So that's my main concern. Like, even with that swap, you're not getting the huge change with your team. And then I think CeeDee Lamb is better than Mike Evans on the rest of the season. So I don't necessarily think I would do this trade. I get being in a bad position at 4 and 6. You want to make a change there, but I don't think that it does enough for you that it's going to be positive. So I would say no to that one. I don't think that that's a trade that's going to impact you too much of a positive light immediately, right? And you're probably looking to win immediately, but having Jones out and Patterson out, I don't think that it makes a crazy difference for you. And then I like CeeDee Lamb just a tad bit more than Mike Evans, who I really, really like Mike Evans, don't get me wrong, but I like CeeDee's upside just a little bit more overall. All right, 3rd and 6 for the Rams here. Jimmy G dropping back. He's going to find George Kittle, who gets tackled and that's bad for my fantasy matchup. But oh well. Ronald, trade for James Conner as a flex. There you go. Ronald, just playing the team seems fairly stacked. There you go. Man, I really need George Kittle. I need that to be his only catch of the night. How likely do you guys think that is? Wow, what a bad throw. What a bad throw by Lamar in my game. All right. Yeah, George Kittle balled out last week, so I'm not feeling great right now. I'm not going to lie. A little pitch to Eli Mitchell, who gets about a yard here. And that's it. Second down for the San Francisco 49ers. CD should land into a more consistent production than Evans. Evans, when he booms, can win your week. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, either of these guys can win your week, but they could be a little bit boom or bust as well. But I like CD just a tad bit more. But he can throw duds. Yeah, of course. Both these guys can, though, is kind of the interesting thing. And I like both these receivers a lot, but I'd lean towards CD Lamb as well. All right, guys, 2nd and 9 for the Niners. Another handoff to Eli Mitchell. Could take. Oh, no, that's Deebo Samuel getting his second handoff of the game. A good overall little run there for Deebo Samuel. All right, guys, make sure you hit that like button, man, as we start to wind down the stream over the next 10 minutes. And make sure that you guys hit that sub button if you are new to the channel as well. And we will start to wind things down after this last Madden challenge here. Yeah, Deebo Samuel picking up a first down there. Samuel going to the sideline. Let's get a big play by Brandon Ayuk, please. That would really, really help my fantasy night. Another handoff to is that Jeff Wilson Jr.? Is that? I think that's Jeff Wilson. I can't tell. Is he number 22? I think he is. This is a good little drive by the Niners so far. Yeah, I think that was. And now Mitchell's back out there. It'll be interesting to see if Wilson gets in the end zone tonight. All right, 2nd and 6, and we got a little pitch to Eli Mitchell. Picks up 2 to 3 yards, but a flag down. Shall see what's going on there. And we have got offsides on the defense. Terrell Lewis. Oh, man, I forgot Von Miller's playing as well. Yeah, number 40. There's Von Miller. A lot of good acquisitions, veteran acquisitions for the Rams. Trying to win now. All right, let's see here. Looking between so many screens right now, it's crazy. Okay, Jimmy Garoppolo hands it off, and I don't know if that was. I don't think he got that first down. I think they stopped him short. If not, he just barely picked it up. Ronald, hey, if you can't pick good players in the draft, trade for them. Hey, absolutely. And Jimmy G picks up a first down there. A little QB sneak. Niners moving the ball with confidence tonight, man. I guess they are at home. Little home field advantage going on right here. We'll see what happens. I'm finally going to win one of these Madden challenges. I played like 3 of these last night and did not win any of them for our Mutt squad. All right, another pitch to Eli Mitchell. He gets about half a yard to 1 yard. Jimmy G looking poised tonight thus far against this Rams defense. I mean, I just forgot that I need the Rams defense to play pretty well tonight. So I guess I'm not really rooting for the Niners other than Brandon Ayuk, who so far only has 1 reception for negative yardage. So we'll see what Ayuk does here. A reception there by Kyle Hushik. And I've got to try and not fumble here in Madden. All right, guys. So I hope we got to everyone's questions for the night. Ronald, maybe it's just me, but if my star wide receiver had a bad calf, I probably wouldn't use him as a running back. But what do I know? I was kind of thinking the same thing. I was kind of surprised that they were handing them the football so much. All right, 3rd and 4 for the Niners. Let's see what happens here. 3rd and 4. Jimmy G dropping back. He finds George Kittle for a first down. Kittle looking very involved already early in this game, which is not good for my fantasy matchup, but oh well. All right, guys. I hope I got to everyone's questions tonight. I hope you guys get a little bit of repetition, preparation for week 11 before we do end things here on Monday Night Football. So I appreciate you guys coming through. I'm glad we got Steven in here for a bit. We will both be on tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. sharp. So make sure you guys swing by tomorrow. We will be, just doing fantasy Q&A tomorrow. Should be a great time. Our Tuesday night streams are always very, very active as Deebo Samuel gets another handoff here. Interesting. So, guys, appreciate everyone coming through tonight. I appreciate you guys as always. We'll go ahead. We'll finish out this Madden challenge, and we'll be off for the night. Listen, must-start defenses dropping tomorrow, and our must-start defenses dropping tonight. Excuse me. So make sure you guys check out that video as well. Steven does work pretty hard on those. Go through, check it out. Drop a like, even if you've got the Bills defense. You might learn something good from it, I guess. So just appreciate you guys, man. Ronald, write down who's on waivers. Yes, write them down. And guys, if you missed the waiver wire must-adds for week 11, I did stream that earlier, so make sure you guys hop in there and check that out as well. Should help you guys make some decisions. I didn't put AJ Dillon on there because I really didn't see him being available in a lot of leagues. But keep in mind, if AJ Dillon's available in your leagues, guys, go pick him up like right now. Have that waiver in first thing in the morning. But yeah, I didn't put him in there. But outside of AJ Dillon, there are plenty of good options for you guys to choose from. And we always go pretty in depth for those waiver wire streams as well. So make sure you guys check that out. Drop a like on there. Check out Steven's must-start defenses tonight. Drop a like there as well. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you hit that sub button tonight. Become part of the Catch fam. We will be on tomorrow, like I've already stated. And we're just trying to finish out this Madden game, and then we'll be off for the night. So I wish everyone good luck tonight, man. I want to finish this Madden game, and I want to see if the Niners score here and how they score as well. Eli Mitchell with another handoff, man. He should not be there before the injury. I agree, Ronald. That's the main reason I didn't put him on. But in some smaller leagues, he is definitely available. So, I didn't really even think about that, right? But I do agree. He should not be available. He's been one of the best handcuff situations on the year. So I do agree with that. And he's been productive at times as well. So definitely agree with that. All right, let's see. 3rd and 6 for the Niners. Can they find the end zone? Jimmy G dropping back. He looks for George Kittle, who scores, which means my fantasy night is over. Probably a good time for me to end the stream because that means I'm probably going to lose tonight. So, hey, I appreciate everyone coming out, man. Like I said, we'll be on tomorrow at 7:30 for Week 11 Fantasy Q&A, both Steven and myself. Must-start defenses dropping tonight. Make sure you guys go check that out. Drop a like there as well. I appreciate you guys coming out, man. I'm glad we got some preparation for Week 11 done. Go check out the waiver wire video for Week 11 editions as well. I got nothing else to say, but thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on The Catch, and peace.